Going over the level 7 vault, they all start from a 10. There's 3 vaults they can do. Performing salto or flipping vault is not allowed. In that case, it is a 0. And this slide shows you some diagrams to go along with the descriptions. Remind you on the Souk entry vault, the gymnast is allowed to bend her first arm slightly. And on the front handspring, you have to land feet first. The mats, we do want to highlight that you can't bring your own pit pillow or alternate skill cushion. And that at the end of the mat stack, there has to be an additional 8-inch mat. There can be a sting mat on top of the mat stack. Okay, the runway and mats, 70 to 80 feet. Another change reminder is that there is no chalk permitted, although tape and Velcro strips are allowed, but they have to be removed. If they're not removed, it's 2/10 from the chief judge after a warning. Hand placement mat has to be provided by the meet director. Can't bring your own. Only used for round-off entry vaults. No tape is permitted, but they may use chalk on that hand placement mat. The safety zone mat is absolutely required for all round-off entry vaults. Without it, it is a 0, and it must fit snugly around the board. It's allowed for other vaults with no deductions, and in that case, it doesn't have to be snug. No junior boards, only a regular springboard allowed. Balks. Go over balks a little bit. There's 3 attempts to complete 2 vaults. First one was with no penalty. I typically write on my paper that they've had 1 run. Balk is when they fall during the run, the athlete stops mid-run, runs off the runway, or contacts the board or vault table without support on the top of the table. All those would constitute a balk. Okay, announcement of the intended vault. Does have to have designate the vault with a name or number. If it's a 4-judge panel, the vault number must be flashed on a flasher, a whiteboard, chalkboard, something like that. At other competitions, the coach can just say the name of the vault or the number. And if they perform the vault that they didn't call, that doesn't matter. You score the vault that they did, so there's no penalty. If the gymnast goes without a signal from the chief judge, you don't score that vault. The gymnast has 2 more vaults, and then the 5/10 would be taken off of the next vault by the chief judge. Coaching deductions, and these are going to be kind of hard to see on a level 7 vault, but if they happened, on a landing, it would be 5/10. Assist during the vault, be void. Catches the falling gymnast, 5/10 for a fall only. Between the board and the vault table, it's 5/10. However, on round-off entry vaults, there is no deduction if the coach is there. Okay, vault-specific deductions. Do want to point out that incorrect foot form is an up to 1/10 deduction. The other one I want to point out here is that failure to maintain a neutral head position is up to 1/10. And that's important because that is not a deduction on some other levels, but it is here on level 7. A support repulsion phase. We're going to highlight here the shoulder angle deduction of up to 2, which will play into the angle of repulsion deduction. And again, to remind you that on Sukahara, the lead arm may bend a little bit without a deduction, but bent arms is normally up to 5. Too long in support, up to 5. And the angle of repulsion is an up to 1-point deduction. On a level 7 vault, it can be measured 2 ways depending on what the gymnast does. So if there's a shoulder angle, the angle is measured from the shoulder to the hips. Or if she's straight body, from the hands to the center of mass. So between 1 and 45 is 0.5 to 0.5, and past 45, past vertical, is 0.55 to 1.0. Again, we've got that head deduction of up to 0.1 and incorrect foot form. 2 others to highlight here are insufficient length, which is only 0.2 on level 7. And then the purpose of the vault is to create rotation. So the failure to create rotation is an up to 3/10 deduction. Insufficient height would be up to 5, and that is a big one. The incorrect body posture on landing is not applied to level 7s who land on their back. So if their feet hit, it can be applied. But if they go straight to their back, you're not applying that deduction. And the landing deductions, of course, are going to be very different for a level 7 vault. And that is it for right now.